So what I've done is drew lines and examples of page 172, brain hemisphere, left hemisphere, right hemisphere. I just simply photocopied the paper itself, made some blanks, and drew diagrams. That's how I think best for that. So I'll kind of walk through that and just kind of give you some illustrations. Left hemisphere, analytic propositions and theories, rational, linear, cause effect, sequential. I think for myself, I did a biology degree, so obviously that just immerses that as your default setting. You know, the world is a rational place, materialistic worldview. How do you work things out? Over time, I became very good at strategic thinking, logical, long range planners. That is the ENTJ Myers Briggs personality type, anyway. And so every career or job I've brought that into the picture as well. But I just want to share with you that all the cross culture experience I've had the last 35 years has really developed these areas here: synthetic, metaphor, narrative, poetic. I've come to really appreciate the power of story and the place of story in human culture and across cultures. I'm not a poet, but I can appreciate poetry and music. It's counterintuitive to my baseline personality. So that's been an area that's been growing with that. Um, Field dependent high context in terms of relationships. My EQ is usually very high. I hold my rationality lightly. I've learned in my cross cultural experience that I need to hear the person, I need to be aware of the relationship, I need to be aware of the guanchi, the mana. I need to be aware of the respect and honoring people and giving them face. And so that's been kind of a shift to that right hemisphere side. Um, in terms of intuitive, analogical, spatial, emotive imaging, the example I share for that is strategic planning. A lot of times, from a Western perspective, means I'm predicting the future along a linear line, and here's what I predict will happen, and boom, 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 boom. Often that doesn't take into account the incredible flexibility of your circumstances, what's called the fog of the future. And I think from my Chinese business perspectives and what I've learned from the Chinese, you have to have a fog of the future. You have a dashboard. You take into account all the variables that are going on. You're able to identify threats and also opportunities, and you have systems in place that can quickly mobilize resources in response for an organization to that. So I don't really get into the Western strategic thinking, boom, 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 in 3 years' time we'll have here. But I do believe in having a construct of a dashboard that has the important variables, and that's how you do that. And you kind of include both with that one there. The next area here, what I've written down, sorry about this moving around. Cognitive novelty versus do I put people as stereotypes and then as far as my thinking goes, or do I try to hold each person I have loosely and try to see them as an individual versus trying to put them into a box? And pretty much what I've written here, I cannot afford to use stereotypes in my ministry. I really need to have fresh eyes towards each person. It'd be easy to say, oh, that's a Chinese driver, use other cultural stereotypes, but I can't really do that in what I do. The other part here is a flexible and adaptive, as you can see on that chart. My response to that, this is an interesting one. I learned that I had to be incredibly flexible going up into unknown situations in China with about 18 doctors and medical staff, with all kinds of moving wheels all over the place, in an environment that we were not sure of, in an environment that was heavily controlled by local security. And so we'd go into situations and have no idea what we're doing. My counter reaction, though, is that I became a control freak in terms of, okay, Lord, I can't control the ministry situation, what's going to happen, but I do need to control what I can control. I can control not forgetting medications. We can control having China SIM cards in our mobile phones. we can control having our passport and our visas all in place. And I can't control keeping those documents safe. We can't control the environments in which we speak. We can't control what we do with local Christians. And I can't control listening to them and going by their understanding of the local security situation. So that's how it kind of came out doing cross-cultural ministry in China. The last thing I want to share, and let me move my paper, at the bottom there, individualistic or collectivistic. And so I can go into missionary mode at times when people are not working together well as a team. If there's a task that needs to be done, I'll do it. I'll just say, okay, great, I'll go into that. That probably hurt our journey at OCBC when we were trying to go into a building project. The entire building team absolutely let us down and dropped the ball. And instead of Lynn and I saying, okay, let's just stop here, we pushed on. And that's how we did it in China. Unfortunately, it wasn't the best thing to do here, and that did hurt our journey. Collectivistic, I love working with other people, having collective responses, and to empower others and ourselves as we make some really good decisions together. I find that more satisfying. So pretty much that's my thumbnail sketch of brain hemispheres. It's been an interesting thing to read, and I look forward to hearing you guys as well, you all as well. All right, I'm going to put this paper down and stop this video for there. Oh, there's a picture of Lynn and I that's 1983. And that's my billboard with all my planning and pictures of special events. Take care. Bye.